Coasters are defined by what they can do, obviously. But what is the best element on a coaster? Many define it by an amazing first drop, a good type of roll, or something so unique that it does something no other coaster can do. In my opinion, it's none of these options. In today's video, we are going to explore this topic a little further and take a deep dive into what is the best coaster element. And no, it's probably not what you think it is. I'm going to cut the BS before it starts. Objectively, a roll is the best element. It can offer an extremely diverse set of forces and be profiled in really any way you want it to. It could be super whippy, it could be a smooth flowy element, it can deliver positives, it can deliver negatives, or it can do absolutely nothing. I know a lot of people will debate that a 0G roll and a barrel roll are a little different, and they kind of are, but for the sake of this video, they're similar enough to be lumped into the same category. I love 0G rolls because they just feel so nice. You were tossed in all sorts of directions without really going anywhere. It's perfect. And a barrel roll, also known as a heartline roll, is also an amazing experience. Rotating over the center of mass on your body is just so smooth and so demonic at the same time. The added bonus of rolls is they can go really anywhere. I mean, look at velocicoaster's Mosasaurus roll. This heartline roll is inches above water and gives off a really convincing look that you're gonna hit it. Another really cool heartline roll is the one on gwazi. I mean, that thing is taken with some serious pacing and can give some crazy whip, and that's why it's called the death roll. And if you want to look at good 0G rolls, well, there's not many bad ones, but my favorite has to be Twisted Colossus's. It's one of my favorite parts of the ride, even within all the RMC injector that is thrown in there. So rolls are objectively the best element, and I will stand by that. They're simply the most versatile, and they can really be used in any way. I can see arguments for more niche elements, which we will spend a bit of time talking about right now. Raven turns on 4-dimensional coasters are probably something that is brought up a lot, or just the first drop of 4D coasters, and I have to agree, the first drop on X2 is something that you need to experience. It is so disorienting, so scary, and gives off the effect of free falling straight down perfectly. However, there's only 3 moments like this in the entire world, and it's just not as versatile as a simple roll. As for the Raven turn, well, that is my favorite element on X2, and my least favorite element on X2. It just depends how rough it is and how a manufacturer decides to use it. Now, there are a ton of more niche elements that we can go by, but none are as versatile as a 0G roll, and I think it's pretty safe to say so. Since we don't have a ton of information to talk about in this video, let's just talk about elements that are consistently bad. I really don't like corkscrews. I don't know why, I just don't. A lot of corkscrews kind of just go upside down and that's about it. There's never really a point in them except to add more inversions. Most modern day coasters don't use corkscrews, they focus more on the rolls that center around your center of mass. Corkscrews just feel awkward to me and I just don't see the point in them. A lot of coasters that have corkscrews are also just old multi-loopers, which are my favorite genre of coasters as well. Please let me know in the comment section if this is just me, because my opinion may be very well. Okay, so that's like the objectively the best and worst elements, but here's where I share with you what my favorite element on a coaster is, and what the rest of this video is going to be about. For one thing, I just want to say, I'm sorry. Most of you are not going to like this opinion, and I might just say stuff that will make you absolutely heated, but it's okay. It will be all good in the end, and hopefully I can convince you into seeing everything in a new light. Probably not, but I'll try. So we all know I like theming. Well, that's the best element on a coaster. Now before you click off the video, let me explain. A roller coaster can only be a roller coaster. It could be a very good roller coaster, but at the end of the day, it's only a roller coaster. For example, I'm going to compare Twisted Colossus and Space Mountain because they are some of my most ridden coasters. Twisted Colossus is very good. It was my #1 for a long time. It is just a simply good coaster. But Space Mountain, that thing is amazing. It is a full package experience and I have little to no complaints with it. Now Space Mountain is objectively a bad coaster. If you slap this down in the middle of a parking lot, I would agree with you. It's a no good hunk of garbage that you only ride for the +1. But that's what's different between Space Mountain and Twisted Colossus. One has world-class theming and the other does not. Now if you still go head to head between these two rides, Twisted Colossus is higher in my rankings, but it sure is closer than it should be at least. I would take Space Mountain over most multi-loopers any day of the week. The theming that this ride has, the shooting stars, the onboard audio, the setting in the dark, it just brings out a feeling that no other coaster can. I truly feel like I'm in the future flying through space at hundreds of miles per hour. It is that what is so rewarding about this coaster for me, and the theming just saves it. If you are not convinced, let's look at another example. You have 2 of the best coasters in the world, gwazi and velocicoaster. Now based on your answer to this question, I can already tell what type of an enthusiast you are. There is no objectively right answer, it really comes down to personal preferences. gwazi is probably the best RMC, it might be the best standalone coaster in the world. Velocicoaster is a full package deal that manages to combine a world-class layout with high-level theming. Now for me, it's not even close. Velocicoaster wins any day of the week. The thing is, if you set both of these coasters down in a cornfield in Iowa, I would say gwazi is better. Velocicoaster is an amazing intimate blitz that is complemented well by its theming, and that's why it's so good. I am struggling to put into words how much this means for me on a coaster. When rides are well themed, they become an experience instead of just a ride. You look back on it with fonder memories and a deeper connection to what just happened. You get immersed into another world and truly feel like you're flying through space or running from escaped velociraptors. It's something that you truly cannot recreate. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is currently sitting at my number 3 coaster, but it's not an amazing coaster, it's just an amazing experience. From the pre-shows to the onboard audio to the glorified Space Mountain sets, it's just so perfect. And the fact that it goes 60 miles per hour indoors is just the cherry on top. Now the problem with valuing theming so high is it's rarely done well. Well, that's not entirely true, but good theming is never combined with roller coasters. You could find good theming at almost any park, but it's usually not paired with a coaster. For example, I absolutely love the Justice League Battle for Metropolis clones at Six Flags parks, even if they are a terrible dark ride. I love the attempts at theming and appreciate it a lot more than most enthusiasts do. I think it's so cool how you can find hidden gems at certain parks that aren't even known for theming, such as Monster Mansion at Over Georgia. To me, creating an experience and immersing a park guest can do so much more than just dosing them with adrenaline over and over again. But most of the time, it is not paired with other coasters. Theming is insanely expensive to pull off well, and to be frankly honest, there's not an audience for it. If you like theming and you're bringing your family of 5 to an average day at an amusement park, most likely you are heading to a Universal or Disney park. And if you are an adrenaline junkie who craves the strong forces of roller coasters, chances are you're going to a Six Flags or a Cedar Fair park. There's just not a lot of room in between those lines. This is why Europe and Asia are so appealing to me. For Europe, there's a market for theming, and most everyday park guests are more appreciative of it when it is done well. You have places like Alton Towers, Phantasialand, Thorpe Park, Europa Park, heck, even Energylandia has been getting into theming their rides well. There's a culture built there where people just appreciate it, so it's done more. The best part is you go to a small park and there's some crazy dark ride where you ride in bathtubs, that being an example. Same goes with Asia, but I'm mostly looking at China there. For those telling me to just go like dark rides if you like theming, my answer to that is, I do, and I love them. I can't talk about dark rides too much on this channel because the viewer intention will drop faster than the stock market did in 2020, but I do love dark rides a lot, and I make sure to go out of my way to ride them every time I visit a new park. Anyways, let's talk about the future of theming and coasters. To be honest, it's not that bright. Like I said, there are 2 separate audiences, so I just don't see a lot of these type of rides being built. Six Flags and Cedar Fair are for sure not interested in building these rides or can't really afford it. I could see someone like SeaWorld doing a more budget option, as Arctic Rescue had a small attempt at theming and Penguin Trek looks to be slightly better, but as I mentioned before, it's really only Disney and Universal that do theming. The good news is that if you look at what Universal has planned, it's absolutely crazy. First, we have Hollywood Drift being built over at Universal Studios Hollywood. This is going to be the velocicoaster of the West Coast, and to be honest, it may be better than Velocicoaster. It's an Intamin Blitz that spins. Like, who doesn't want that? I don't know what the theming on this coaster is going to look like, especially because it's being built on a hillside, but you know it will at least have a cool pre-show and station. More coasters being built with amazing theming is Starfall Racers and How to Train Your Dragons at Epic Universe, with Starfall Racers probably being the best dueling coaster in the world. So that's really it. We may see some small additions overseas, but in America that's all what you really get. Like I said, a lot of you may disagree with me, but I truly believe theming has the ability to enhance a ride into an immersive experience. Roller coasters without theming are bad or even close to that, but if you add the cherry on top and go the extra mile to add theming, then it is my favorite element on a coaster. That's all for today's video, guys. If you hated my opinions, please join the Discord and complain. I would love to see your points, link in the description. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.